I know you call this a holy grail. The question is it holy? Welcome back to another video, guys. Today I'm here with Kevin and he has a Canyon gravel. This is the second gravel. I don't know how successful gravel bikes will be on my channel, but I think some people appreciate gravel bikes, some people don't. We'll give it a shot. Kevin, thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure, man.
You have an awesome looking bike. I have a lot of questions on this bike.
Oh, go ahead, man.
This is a Canyon Grail CF SL 8.0. Did I get it right?
Yes.
I don't know why the name is so damn long. Kevin, can you please introduce yourself and tell us more about your bike, please?
Sure. Hi, I'm Kevin Lim here. I'm an avid YouTube fan of his as well, and I'm also an aspiring YouTuber, but I'm not as nuts as him. But anyway, I love adventuring. I've got friends who are way more hardcore, and I aspire to be like them. But the whole idea here is I got my start in cycling through BMX. And ever since then, I tried foldies, I've tried cyclocross bikes, I've tried fixies, I've tried almost everything out there. And through the years, I've settled mostly with steel bikes, and these would be steel touring bikes like the Specialized AWOL or the Surly fat bikes. I had a bunch of those. I had the Surly Pugsley as well as the Surly Moonlander. And there's something about all these huge, chunky, heavy metal kind of bikes that really draws me in. I love how utilitarian they are, and I know we normally feature a lot of racing bikes here, but I want to bring in a different flavor. Some of us, you might love Lamborghinis, but some of us love like Jeeps, some of us love trucks, and if you're in that kind of thing, you love to haul cargo. I'm that kind of person. I love to haul a lot of cargo. I don't know why. Some of us love to party while we bike, so we bring a lot of barang. Naturally, of course, we cycle tour as well. I go with my friends to different parts of the world, some Malaysia, Bintan, Taiwan, you name it. We aspire to travel and be self-sufficient. That's kind of why we love cycle touring, the idea of bike packing and all that, and really adventuring on the ground, and really appreciating and soaking in the whole atmosphere wherever you are. So it's a slower kind of ride. But I can get fast if you really want to, especially since I got this. This is my very first carbon bike, so lots to share.
Kevin, thanks for the introduction. And my channel being a predominantly road bike channel, so please excuse me if I were to ask stupid questions.
Please do.
More about the bike. Why a gravel bike in Singapore?
Okay, so that's a heavy hitter. Everybody asks that question. I think there's technically no right or wrong bike out there. You want to ride a tricycle, go ahead. I've seen some guy ride a foldable fixie round island. Kudos to him as well. I mean, everybody's got their poison. Gravel bikes to me kind of represent a hybrid between a race bike and a mountain bike. It's kind of like the in-between. You've got the form factor that almost looks like a normal road bike or roadie, but you've got the thick tires and the reinforced down tube, which indicate that this thing's out for real hammering, So you can really take a huge blast on the trails or whatnot if you want. Naturally, it's not going to be as versatile as a mountain bike, but as an everyday kind of bike where you could be in any situation, whether you're riding on pavement, PCN, some unknown trail or path that you're just exploring, this bike can more or less take it all in. So I wanted a bike that didn't constrain me to just the road. I love bikes that let me go anywhere I want, give me that freedom that I love when riding. So I think for those of us who hike, explore places, this is the kind of bike for that kind of personality as well.
Right. Talk us through about the components and everything that you have on this bike.
Sure. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the Canyon Grail. I love to call it the Canyon Holy Grail CF, which stands for carbon fiber, and SL8. It's German made, of course, which is why the name is so modular. And there is a SL7, SL8, and then there's a SLX8 as well, which is even lighter carbon fiber frame. So there's a kind of system that they have when it comes to the naming convention. And I must say, if you go around Singapore, actually you see quite a number of people riding Canyon, because it's one of the few bikes that's marketed through what they call direct to market kind of sales. They don't have shops here, which cuts off a lot of middleman costs. which is one of the reasons why this bike is so damn popular. It's because it's technically very affordable for what you get. So aside from a carbon fiber frame, right, and this frame weighs about 8.9 kg, I think, thereabouts, 8 point something, which is not bad. Then you throw in, I've got the stock. This bike is mostly stock except for the tires. So I added, instead of the 35 Shelby G1 bike, which is a decent tire to begin with. I love fat, right? So I went to above its legal limit of, this is I think 40 or 45 I can't remember. But it's a Pirelli's Cinderello Gravel H. And there's two models, there's a H and an M. H is hard packed, which is why the treading is a bit closer and it's faster. And then M stands for mixed terrain, which means if you want to get wet and wild, right, that one is more knobby, will get you places. I love this because Pirelli's is a very popular car tire brand, and it just looks good. And you notice I opted out the 10 walls because I wanted stealth. So it's partly the look. I love the tread pattern, and one of the important things if you are changing tires, right, is to check out this site called tireresistance.com or something. Go Google it. There's a website. They actually review all the tires and tell you how much wattage you need to put in per tire. So it helps you with your decision making. And this is one of the faster rolling tires that requires less energy for you to output. So I get the speed and I get the width to tackle more terrain. And part of it also is this idea that when you go fatter means you can run lower pressure also. This means that when you tackle certain terrain, right, you can absorb more bumps. So that's the first level of defense when it comes to like the bumps and all that. You of course then notice the unmistakable hover bar, or some people call it the double decker bar. That carbon layer, carbon fiber handlebar is meant for you to flex and absorb vibrations. And I've taken videos of myself riding to observe. You do see the thing flex almost like an airplane wing, like it bends a little bit. So wow, it's damn shook, man. You see this kind of stuff, like it's really engineering in motion. And again, German, right? It's like super hardcore. You really appreciate all these engineering feats. So aesthetically, it's amazing to me, but mechanically, it's like wow. It's like it also works, not bullshit lah. Now, to couple that as a second level defense for like bumps and all that, there's still this thing called the VCLP or something like that. It's what they call a split leaf carbon fiber seat post. And what this does is that it flexes forward and backward. And you might think that suspension needs to be up and down, but you cannot do that because you got to maintain your foot distance to the pedal. You got to maintain your stroke distance. So most of the time suspension on seat posts is to swivel back and forth rather than up and down. So that maintains your geometry, maintains your speed, and doesn't make you feel like you're going to fall off, you know, in strange kind of situations. So other than that, obviously one of the big things here is that for that price, and I'll tell you the price later, you are getting a GRX 8, is it 800 or 810 group set? And this goes down to the crank arm. The brake system is also, I think, associated, GRX system. And then the shifters are modified GRX also because of the way you grip. You know, in tackling terrain, right, unlike road situation, right, your hands could be in various positions, especially on the hoods. Therefore, the way it's ergonomically shaped is for you to easily pull the trigger lah. So these are the few things. They also give you a pretty solid, I must say, this is a very good saddle. This is the Fizik Argo with a cut in between to save weight, of course. But this shapes and with the short nose, right, is getting very popular already. The short nose so that it's compact, you can come off the bike and not get pierced in the back. There's a lot of advantages to it, and I love this saddle that they provide. So stock, actually, you don't have to change much. It's really pretty damn good lah. Okay, one thing about Canyon is that a lot of stuff that you see here is very modular. The mirrors I added my own, that's what I got on Amazon, alright? The other side is a modular bell that fits into your bar and also from Canyon. Then the front, right, is a Canyon Garmin mount, and below is a magnetic light system. So this one I have to show you later you do close up lah. It's amazing lah, it's like MagSafe, like you cluck, stick there, then you turn on.
The light, is it?
Yeah, that's the button right there.
Okay.
And it's 800 lumens, which is like, wow, not bad for such a small thing, man. Love the way it's angled, love so it's very important, you don't just buy a powerful light. The lens and the way it spreads the light is also just important, and the way it's got it down for something so small is just magnificent lah. USB-C some more, so everything here is like very compatible with a lot of stuff out there. So I got a Garmin Explorer, so it's a bit different. It's not your racing one. The Garmin Explorer is meant for navigation, exploration. It has more maps in it and all that. I'm able to store more things in there. And I'm using the, I think this is the Fly 6, the rear camera cyclic light. I did a review of this. Pretty damn solid. I know there's cheaper ones that you recently did a giveaway. I think that's great because this thing is very expensive, but I found out why. This thing is like got so many features. It even integrates your Garmin to control from the Garmin as well. So you're paying for all the bells and whistles lah. And I think the other question that you all might ask is, what about why all these bags? Actually, these are bags from Trek. They are from Ultegra. And even though Canyon has their own range of bags, which some of them are superb, I find that the look and feel of these Ultegra bags from Trek, right, which you can go to technology stores and buy and try, which is very important to try because you don't know if they'll fit your bike. They just suit the aesthetic very nice because they're using X-Pack material, water resistant. So again, contributes to the stealth look. Again, your common question might be, what do you bring in there? I tend to like to be a helpful rider. I usually bring first aid kit, battery packs, tools, spare tubes and all that. Again, self-sufficiency. Because, just a side note, I'm diabetic. I actually have candy and all that I store in there because I can't produce glucose as quickly, and when I work out it really burns through the sugar really fast. So I keep some food and candy there, and my Garmin purposely has a data field to track my blood sugar because I'm using a wearable blood sugar meter here that will transmit Bluetooth to the Garmin to see what my blood sugar is, to warn me if I'm getting too low. So everything here is all catered to me. Super happy. I love that it's got a cyberpunk feel to it, even though it's gravel. So it's my vibe lah, and you all got to find your own vibe lah.
Kevin, thank you so much. That is very comprehensive. I think you've done your homework and you've been watching my video. So
Yeah.
maybe I'm going to ask more about bike sizing and stuff
Sure.
like that. I've taken a few notes. So dialing back a bit, what is your height and the frame size?
Sure. Okay, so that's a very good question because Canyon is a bit weird. It's very hard to measure this bike in particular because of the way the top tube and the handlebar stem is not traditional. So if you do look at the website, the measurement as per normal, right, is going to be potentially shorter than what you imagine. But in their measurement, they put a plus factor to it to show you the actual. So when it comes to the handlebar height, it might go up to where the top tube is, but they have one more measurement they added called a plus, where it then shows how much it extends up. Now for me, at about 1.75 meters, this is a small. Normally I ride medium for most bikes, including Specialized and all that. And I know for a fact that it's true to fit, and you can use their online size calculator. When you choose any bike, right, there's an online size calculator on the right hand side. Put in your height, your inseam. So my inseam is about 80 cm, 175, and then they sped out, they say you can get a small. And at first I wasn't sure. Then interestingly, before I managed to buy this online, even though it's affordable, relatively good price, right, it's actually quite hard to get because availability is always out of stock. So in the end, I resorted to buying on Carousel, and I bought one size smaller because, which is quite stupid lah, XS. But I was desperate for this bike. I was loving it. And this guy selling it really affordably, and he was trying to convince me that actually you buy smaller, right, it will look better. I think some roadies believe that lah. But I tell you, after riding that bike, I feel like puking because the whole body and kinesthetic all wrong, and I knew I had to sell it off. And then, zun online, I check on a Thursday night. So you must do your homework. You must check religiously. Check the website. Boom! It was available. Quickly snapped it up. And in terms of wait time, I got it in July. I ordered in July. By end August, I think they promised August, October. By end August, they promised to deliver, but they always over deliver. As in, like, they beat their own timeline and actually deliver earlier. And even though shipping is a lot, right, like $300, it like came to me in less than a week. Super lightning fast, perfect package, hand delivered. It was superb lah. So for the price you pay, right, even though the bike is technically quite affordable online, you gotta add in the GST, which is gonna, for a bike like this, I can tell you the price now. I'm just gonna jump to price. It's gonna be about 3,900 online, okay? Then you add the GST, which is about $300 or so, 320. Then add shipping and delivery, that's another 300. But then there's a $20 disbursement fee from UPS, because UPS help to pay for your tax first lah. So all in all, it's about $4,690 thereabouts. Again, no, this is a full-on carbon bike, fantastic group set that even if you minus off the group set itself, right, you're getting the frame for like really very cheap, you know, it's like 2,000 or less. So that's why it's so popular. I've seen so many people riding this. I saw an auntie ride a blue color version. I was like, wow, auntie, then power. Must be the sun pass to hit her lah. But the point is, a lot of people ride Canyon for a reason lah. It's that balance of price, performance, and looks lah. Yeah.
Do you find it difficult to buy gravel bike parts in Singapore, where you know everyone rides road bikes?
Yeah. So the funny thing is that, okay, before I wrote this, right, I actually wrote the Specialized A-Wall. And if you study the Specialized A-Wall, it's actually I forgot what frame it was from, but it's actually using mountain bike group sets, but in a drop bar format. So actually, some of these group sets you can mix and match. You just have to do a bit of homework. And technically, you don't need to buy this to be considered a gravel bike. Any mountain bike where you manage to slap on drop bars, you can consider it a gravel bike, right? And it's using a mountain bike group set. And you might be wondering then, what's so different about a GRX 800? Why, you know, there's already roadie, there's already mountain bike specific. What's so special? So there's a few things lah. It's going to be a bit more forgiving. In that, in a mountain bike environment, it's a bit like cyclocross, right? You might start and stop more frequently or make tight turns and all that than a road bike. So therefore, your agility and ability to shift on command, right, or even when you're stalled, is higher lah. So you need a more forgiving group set gearing. The other thing is also, one thing I'm not sure if you all noticed, is that there's special attention paid to this derailleur, this lower part here, because in our environment, if we're going to hit the trails, there's going to be rocks as well as vegetation, right? So what they did was they tried to give you an option. There's a switch here which lets you have a more locked in kind of feel, but you can tighten and taut that thing until it becomes very rock solid, to a point where it won't flail around and won't get caught in anything. So they try and make sure that the height clears as much debris as possible. So there are all these little things, and also the way it's spaced out, they try and give you easier climbing feel before it spreads it out really far lah. Yeah.
Coming from I started off mountain biking and then I got into road biking. The rotors look like Ultegra rotors, and the brake housing as well.
Yeah.
Am I right? Are these Ultegra rotors?
Actually, I won't be surprised if they took inspiration, but these are GRX specific, but they definitely took a lot from the mountain biking scene. So the fat bikes and the touring bikes are very heavy. You need really hardcore braking power, plus the fins is to dissipate the heat lah. So it's that hardcore. So when you put it on a gravel bike, it might be excessive, but don't forget, you are stopping, turning, you are doing more agile things, so the ability to dissipate heat becomes more important. No?
I've got a question on the stem, which you've mentioned. It's a bit unique.
Yeah.
So the spacers are right here and now it sits flush.
Yes.
Did you have to adjust the spacers so that it sits flush, or was it protruding upwards when it came with the bike?
Okay, so that's a good question. I think if I recall correctly, in the box that it came with, right, I didn't adjust the head tube there. I didn't adjust the spacers. I'm lucky in that the sizing fits well. The thing about buying this bike is, technically, while you could protrude up, I think they don't recommend it. You should only drop it down. So this is like the max that you can go, and if you remove spacers, you can drop down. But once you do that, the bike look a bit sengit lah, not so nice lah. But the option is there.
So this is the default setting when it comes with when you first buy it.
Correct,
so
and it's the highest also.
Right, so you can only go down.
Yes, which, yeah, so you know, there's something that you kind of, if you got a friend who has a Grail, that you should try it out, see where it fits you and stuff like that lah.
Okay.
And I think Canyon Grail, there's a Singapore rep somewhere where you can possibly try. They do some pop-ups once in a while.
Stupid questions on wheels for gravel.
Yeah.
Do people buy carbon fiber rims, or usually it's just like alloy rims?
Oh, it's like the roadies, and even the mountain bikers also got carbon, right? So you do have carbon. I think, likewise, you notice already the frame is like 8.9 kg, right? The SRX version goes down to 7.2 2 or something like that. It's pretty hardcore. So naturally, some people want to go even lower. They go for carbon crankset, they go for the carbon wheels. In fact, if you were to ask me if I had money, I want to upgrade, what would I do? I've always wanted to have a more deep rim set. It's sexy, plus also I understand why people get it, so that there's momentum. So that would be something I would go for. And specifically, there are carbon rims. Loon from Windspace actually sells wonderfully priced one. My friend's using one. NV also has one. Zip also has one specific to gravel. And you might be wondering, what's the difference? The difference is they can accommodate a wider range of tire widths. And the more advanced one, the SRAM worked with Zip to release a new Explore range, right? Where the freaking rim can, and the spokes can bloody flex so that I don't know what, it does some magic, right? So that you have better grip on the ground or something, like some ridiculous shit lah.
Okay.
So yeah, it gets pretty wacky.
Will you ever be a roadie convert?
Possibly. In fact, you know what? I might not need to buy that, because I was thinking of buying a second wheel set and put on maybe 28mm wheels and be done. Because in UK, right, there's this whole idea that in winter, their normal bikes can't be used, right? So a lot of them start to buy gravel bikes. Then what they do is they just buy a second wheel set where they can swap. So you don't have to have so many bikes in the house, you only maintain one. Yeah, so it's more of an economic choice if you like that. And I don't think this would look too bad as a road bike also. So,
by the way, there's no such thing as too many bikes.
yeah.
What do you not like about the bike?
Interesting. I was thinking hard about that when I saw your videos, you know. At first I was worried about carbon, and it's like, oh man, I have to baby the whole thing. I don't know if you noticed, but I put PPF on that, so that cost me $350 because I went for the deluxe, you know, got everything in it. This is a matte one from Reich's Cool, is it? The Expel series. But I don't know, I have not found anything major. Maybe, okay, one thing, I'm still not used to the shifting on this. And even though I've tried so many bikes, right, I'm not sure why, maybe it's just me, but I think it could feel a bit smoother, because maybe I've been from the mountain bike discipline where, I'm not saying mountain bike, pure mountain bike, I was riding more like touring bikes, and I use mountain bike group sets, and I felt that it's more forgiving, you know, more smooth in transitions, but this one, I don't know, seems very precise or very taut. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around it lah.
Okay, so we move on to the Instagram questions. You guys want to ask your questions, follow me on Instagram, you'll get the chance. So Kevin, a lot of questions. Are you ready?
Yes, let's
First
go.
question, what's with the pedal? Any plans to go clipless?
Oh, that's 2 questions in one. Okay. So I've tried clipless. They call it clipless, right? Yeah. And I think it's fine. But you see, that's partly a bit more roadie mentality, where you're full on committed, speed and everything, and you know, you can't really deviate. I realized that when I tried that versus flat pedals like these, right, I love flat pedals more, and there are some of us who do, because we just like to circumvent and navigate certain unruly spaces, and we just want that freedom lah. So yeah, so I prefer this, and aesthetically I like this. This happened to be MKS Bear Claws, and I got the all black edition. If you don't know flat pedals, there are many grades of flat pedals, and they can get really expensive too. Again, MKS Japanese company, and Bear Claw, I think it suits the vibe. Carbon gravel bike with a bear claw kind of name. It's just quite cute lah.
Speaking about these kind of pedals, right? So when I first started mountain biking, I didn't get clipless pedals. I used to ride this kind of very sharp, what you call it, bear claw kind of pedals. Well, mountain biking is a bit more aggressive, right? We have single trails and all the routes and stuff. So occasionally, sometimes you slip and it scratches on your feet and it hurts, man. It's a very deep cut. Don't you face that? I don't know where do you go gravel riding.
That's a good point. On my other bike, right, I have a 29er Plus. I am using the traditional mountain bike with the pins lah.
Yeah.
The pins is the one that really, when it hits your shin, right, it can tear like Wolverine, just tear.
Yeah.
So this actually is a bit more forgiving because it's a bit blunt. So it's not so bad. It's not so violent.
It looks quite scary, man.
It looks scary, but if you compare both pedals and let both slide down, you will feel the difference lah.
Right.
This one's still more forgiving.
Is there a specific shoe that you wear, or just any other?
Oh yeah, so I've tried many shoes. I'm using a Vans actually. Yeah, so this is the Vans with the waffle thing. a lot of these shoes that they design are actually meant for skateboards.
Yeah, because it's thick.
Yeah, and this one happens to have the extra cushion, so it seems to work well because with the waffle sole, right, and then the spikes there, right, it kind of grips and all that.
Okay.
So yeah, quite well rounded lah.
Would you add a suspension fork? Why or why not? I don't think you can run the suspension fork in here, right?
Okay, so that's a good question. The thing is that again, SRAM tried to invent the market. They released this thing called the Explorer fork, together with what's that? Reverb, Fox, is it? What's that brand?
RockShox.
RockShox, yes. And it's very funny because it's like it feels a bit bohua lah, because real mountain bike, the millimeters of travel, right, is a lot, right? But then for gravel, they do sell one, but it's like maybe 20, 30 mm only, very little, but it's enough for you to take out the bumps lah. So those reviewers that used it, they say, oh, it's heavenly, but walao, to pay so much just for that few I'd rather just deflate the tire a little bit just to get a bit of suspension. And again, with the hover bar and all that business, some people actually, I got a friend who's running on his own bike, what you call that, the stem, is it? There's a stem suspension stem, so your whole handlebar can rock up and down also.
Why so many bags do you do Singapore round island 10 times?
So to answer that question, I wish I could. Maybe one day I will try. But I think it's maybe you can account it to kiasuism lah. You just want to bring all your barang with you just in case, right? And like I said, I tend to like to think about other riders in my pack. So my friends will know I'll usually be bringing like first aid kit, food, all that kind of barang. And to me, right, it's kind of like I felt that riding a bike with just you in it felt a bit empty. I've always loved the idea of being able to haul cargo, to make it extra useful. So yeah, it's like having a car with a trunk lor. I know you drive sports car, you got barely enough space for a trunk, but I love to have a trunk or roof to throw stuff on. So yeah, that's why.
Where do you usually ride? Are there many cycling trails in Singapore?
Okay, good question. So Singapore is quite small, right? But there's a lot of hidden stuff all around Singapore. And if you want to find out more, if you follow groups like Gravel Cycle Singapore or Gravel Singapura, there are a few people who travel, you peek into the video, you peek into the Strava, you can get a few hints lah. But to just give you a sense, for some of us who explore a bit, right? If you go to old canals or villages of the past, there's some like old school village somewhere that's gone already, or you go to reservoirs, or quarries and things like that. There's usually some paths around one. And if you look at photos or Instagrams of various gravel cyclists around Singapore, you get a sense that there are all these hidden places all around. Now, you won't find anybody publishing this stuff anywhere because it's quite sacred. The minute these things go out, sekali too many people go, then get shut down. And honestly, some of these places could be illegal for all we know to get there, right? So some of it is really your own kakis, your own friends, or your network, or you just explore a bit. So I've given you some hints really. You just look for trails, look for shortcuts, where, in Singapore, they demolish a lot of HDB. And in those blank fields, sometimes there's pathways that were generated in the early days that you can still explore lah. So, if I give you one that a lot of people are going nowadays is Pang Sua Canal. Pang Sua Canal doesn't have a PCN, right? It's all industrial. No real housing around that area there. But if you explore right through, towards the tail end, there's a very nice fishing spot. Then if you go around, explore a bit there's some trails in a forested area. So, that's just to give you one example. There are many more all around and you have to explore. And a few of us, we even found some shortcuts and hidden tunnels, like even right in Orchard Road downtown. You just have to pull out Google Map and make intelligent guesses where these things could be and go. So that's part of fun of it. It's part of the navigation lah.
How does the hoverbar feel? Yeah.
Okay, so think of it like airplane wings. If you ever sit in a plane and watch it fly, lift off and all, you notice it does flex a little bit lah. So carbon, the way it's layered, right? In fact, actually, the handlebar itself is one component. It will flex. So not only will the lower deck and the upper deck, let's call it will flex, but because it's on a double layer, right? If you put your palms on the top part, that's where it will flex inwards. You put it on the upper part, it might flex up, down outwards. So there's a lot of holding positions. Some people like that. Of course, it's quite suicidal to put your hand into the lower part, like you're committing death like that. But the point is,
Can you hold it?
you could if you want, but macam damn scary lah.
Yeah.
But you put here is to flex. Even there's instructions here that says flex here, then here naturally.
Right.
And what's interesting is that, oh, this bike is going to fall.
Yeah.
Is that all the options to hold it really kind of give it a bit more flexibility lah. And yeah, I think it works. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, they're not sure, but I've tried and I've taken videos, and you watch my videos, you see it bending a little bit when I hit, so it's pretty decent lah. Yeah.
I know you call this a holy grail. The question is it holy?
Haven't been blessed yet. Yeah, so
I'm going to baptize it soon anytime.
yeah, maybe.
Kevin, thank you so much again for coming out. Thank you guys for watching. Do subscribe if you like this kind of videos, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
There's no going back. You stepped across the fire.